Hello, I'm Cool Hand Mike. This will be my first review for the channel out of hopefully many to come. Today I want to talk about one particular RPG. RPG games come and go and they tend to be a dime a dozen. However, this game really is a diamond in the rough. It has a unique gameplay system along with its excellent soundtrack and a nice story. The story consists of several different heroes that fight for their own reasons, but they're all essentially fighting to save the world. Each character has their own unique personality, along with various quirky and fun teammates. The multiple arcs in the game all overlap through time, and then come together at the end for a pretty satisfying conclusion. I don't want to give too much with the story, so let's just move on. There are three main areas in the game. The overworld, locations like towns and caves where you can interact with characters and buy items and such, and then the mostly automatic fight scenes. However, let's jump right into the most interesting aspect of the gameplay, which is of course the 30-second time limit to complete the level. While it says 30 seconds, that's not strictly true. You can of course beat them in less than 30 seconds, but in almost every mission you must use the help of the Time Goddess. The Time Goddess has statues in many towns, and when you pray to them, you can rewind time and regain those seconds. However, you do need to pay increasing amounts of gold every time you do so. It eventually gets to the point where you just can't maintain it and you'll lose a level. And it's amusing because, when it gets to that point when you don't have the money, she starts lecturing you on the importance of having money while taking all of your money and your equipment. However, after you lose, you do have the option to retry immediately, and you can skip all the cutscenes so you don't have to waste a lot of time. In the overworld map, you can fight enemies and explore certain dungeons. However, the real money and experience gain are during the missions. While in a mission, there's this mechanic where you get this increased experience gain, and by getting massive levels, you can defeat enemies nearly instantly just by bumping into them. However, once you're done with the level, all that gained experience and levels disappear. The fighting mechanic is deceptively basic. You kind of walk and run into the enemy and you damage each other. However, running during missions damages you, and it often makes a difference between failure and success if you're walking or running. But if you run too much, you'll have such a low amount of health that you won't be able to defeat the enemies. But if you walk too much, you're going to fail the mission because you're going too slowly. So getting herbs to heal yourself or buying food and healing yourself is critical in many areas. Interestingly, the rewinding of time is pretty selective on what it affects. Your in-match experience and equipment is not affected, as well as your position and some events during the level. But it is best to play the mission to understand what is affected and what is not. Almost every mission consists of defeating some massive foe that will destroy the continent or the world unless you defeat them within the next 30 seconds. While I would have been more pleased had there been a more varied goal for every mission, they go by pretty fast and have enough things going on to keep it entertaining, along with several different routes of completion. Despite the desperate state of affairs, every character tends to be zany and comedic. I found myself going around trying to talk to everyone and do all the quests just because I was enjoying it so much. While going through the towns are weapons and armor and other items that can help you, and outside of the main missions, the small portion of money you retain from them can be used to fortify your character. You do only get to keep a small portion, which I think is a tenth. During missions, there are many important things to acquire, and managing your health, items, money, and most importantly time is the key to victory. During missions you get transportation such as motorcycles, boats, and a giant walking castle. Finding the extra characters to join your party makes some of the missions more difficult, but it is rewarding. And in some later missions you really learn how to manage your time wisely because you need to learn how to manage things with less and less as the missions go on. There are special techniques and classes you can assign to your hero. Choosing appropriate special techniques in some of the later missions is important. The classes I did find kinda helpful, but any small boost you get is far outweighed by getting lots of levels by running around and destroying enemies. This is a 2D game in the pixel art style of the SNES generation. The art style is charming and entertaining. The game hardly takes itself too seriously with all the crazy equipment options your characters wear. The sprites are nice, large, and they have smooth animation. Many characters and monsters are not too threatening, and most have some odd, noticeable quirk. Pretty pleased with what they did here. This game really has a first-rate soundtrack. This is going to be one of those games I'm going to be going back to just to listen to some of the music in it. It's impressive because this is a collaborative effort between a whole bunch of different artists. Here's a sample from some of my favorites. The Main Theme by Motoi Sakuraba. Cheap Treasure by Hideki Sha V. Asanaka. To a Space Far Away by Haruka Shimotsuki and Michiko Naruke. And my personal favorite, Wicked Spirit by Black Art. There are several other modes you can play in besides a straight up story mode. The Infinite Battle mode is one where there's an endless amount of evil lords that appear. I tried it and it's a nice addition if you want to challenge yourself. And in it there's even a hard mode for it. The leaderboard section allows you to compare your accomplishments. There is a multiplayer section and even a map editor that allows a hardcore fan to sink in as much time as they want. I found this game to be a real treat. Thanks to the Obscure Speedruns Club for featuring this game and providing me the chance to check it out, otherwise I would have overlooked it. It really felt like a labor of love for the creators because they jam-packed this game with so many things. I mean, their affection for the game really shines through, and I as a consumer really appreciate that. I'm going to give this game a 9 out of 10, which is about as high as I rate any game. Half Minute Hero: The Second Coming is a definite recommend if you like great gameplay, entertaining characters, and a little comedy alongside a clock running down the seconds to the destruction of the world.
Alright, ready?
Time's up! Destruction!
If you like this content, please remember to click the like and subscribe button below. It'll really help us out and tell us that you guys want to see more of this.